Hey everyone, it's Mike the Star Turtle. Sorry for that month-long hiatus. Got out of the flow there for a while. I'm really sorry about that to all my poor subscribers. But I can't promise it won't happen again. But I'm gonna try not to let it happen again. But today I'll be reviewing the South Korean action thriller film Shiri, starring Han Suk-kyu, Choi Min-sik, Yoon Jin Kim, and Song Kang-ho. Directed by Kang Ji-gyu. And yeah, this was the first big, like, Hollywood level blockbuster type film that South Korea ever produced. In fact, it was also it was the most expensive Korean film. Sorry, expensive film that South Korea ever produced at the time, as well, and it was also one of the first, one of the first notable Korean films to do more box office numbers than foreign films. Like, up to this point, most of the biggest blockbusters, biggest box office successes were foreign films, were Hollywood films. Like, I still don't get why we can't ever, like, I know they still put up like bad like dubs in their native languages in a lot of these countries when they show our films, but like, why we can't show their films ever? Because we're lazy Americans, and that's that. Well, good. That's another video. I won't get into another rant about that. But yeah, this is South Korea's first big action blockbuster, and it's not quite as tight. It's definitely not as tight. It's not quite as polished as a lot of blockbusters that it's trying to pay homage to, but it's still better than a lot of Hong Kong films. Like Hong Kong films at the time just still lacked a lot of polish, and they didn't even take care of their negatives most of the time until like recent years. So, like, it's more polished than those for the most part. But it combines some of Hong Kong style elements along with some like action movie, like Hollywood action movie type elements. Like, definitely a little bit of John Woo-esque stuff, but a lot of, like, a little bit of Michael Bay and Michael Mann type stuff. So yeah. Alright, anyway, the plot. But basically, this rogue unit of North Korean terrorists has a big plan to. Well, I won't spoil it for you, but they've got a big plan they're trying to carry out for a big epic terrorist attack. And there's these two South Korean secret agents who are on the tail, and they're on the trail of the specific group, part of the rogue terrorist group named this female assassin who they've been tracking for like years. She's killed a whole bunch of important South Korean VIPs, and they've been trying to find her for years, and they still can't find her. The main character of the two, Ryu, because he's got the name that of course everyone's gonna remember, because Ryu from Ninja Gaiden and Ryu from Street Fighter, but it's a different Ryu. Like, little does he know, his girlfriend is actually the assassin he's looking for. And this is kind of a spoiler, but no, it's not really. Even if they don't actually reveal it till partly for the film, but like, it's easy to see, so I'm not even gonna bother avoiding, because you'll figure it out by yourself in the first like 10 minutes anyway. So I won't. But that's why I'm just giving that away to you. But yeah, and his partner is a sidekick. Although it's kind of more of a sidekick. It's hinted that he's been at it longer, and he's a little bit more of a veteran. But they're friends, and they're but yeah, and so what else? Yeah, this is one of those movies. Definitely playing homage to like movies like The Rock or Executive Decision, and there's a number of inconsistencies and plot holes, and like, realistically, things would be a little bit different. There's some obvious sci-fi elements too, like one of the main plot devices is this special type of explosive that basically, like, with the equivalent of an A-bomb force, will create an A-bomb-like explosion. But like, it's so undetectable, like, it's pretty much just water, and like, when exposed to light and heat, it'll create a nuclear explosion. Essentially, it's totally ridiculous. I really don't know. Well, who knows? Maybe there is something like it, but I don't think so. I think that's a pretty blatant sci-fi element. But yeah, so it's a very like lean film, not much fat in it. It does play the romantic elements. The romantic elements are actually integral to the story, and they never get in the way, which is actually I really hate it when action movies shoehorn in romances, and this is not the case. They actually make the whole romantic elements. They're not like in your face every 5 minutes, but they're all really well done, and they're integral to the whole story of the movie. So I really commend that. Like, it's also way more brutal, even as far as most R-rated action movies are concerned. Just the opening scene where we see a bunch of these North Korean special forces people are going through this horrible, horrific training regime, like where they're actually killing people tied to posts. I'm not sure if those are deserters or people who are too weak, or something. I don't know, but it's a pretty brutal scene. It's just the first 90 seconds of the movie. The action scenes are pretty good. A little bit too much shaky cam. Like they could have done without all the shaky. They could have toned down the shaky cam a little bit. I'm sorry, they didn't need to do it as much. They were trying to be bombastic and American, but that thing said, it's not that bad. It could have been worse, but I do think they could have been the action scenes could have been a bit better without the shaky cam. This highlight sequence is probably about this epic chase scene / shootout where the South Korean federal agents are chasing the terrorists through the street and they're shooting at each other. It's a pretty epic scene, pretty ridiculous but pretty epic. So the cast, might as well talk about the actors. Yoon Jin Kim as the female assassin / girlfriend of the main character. She's got plastic. Her character has plastic surgery. That's why they don't recognize her. Why he doesn't recognize her. She's actually really good. Most people will know her as Sun from Lost. Like, if you like that actress and you wanted to see her in something else, this is a good movie to see. This is probably one of her first. I think this was her first big role, to my knowledge. And she's definitely probably the best thing about this movie. She's really good. You can't, and even though she's a terrorist, you can't help but at least emphasize with her. You really kind of you feel sorry for her. I won't say you root for her, but you feel sorry for her. Her mentor, who essentially the main villain, Choi Min-sik, Old Boy. Everyone who's seen Old Boy will know him. He's a kind of guy who is not really he doesn't see himself as evil. He's kind of fanatical, but he's still pretty scary at the same time. He's cool. That actor's good in just about everything he's done. The main actor as the hero, Han Sik-hyo as Ryu, he is okay. He's not bad. He's a typical hero. He does dramatic elements. He does pretty well. And interesting, this is his big break. And then he did a couple other films, including a South Korean version of Seven. Then he kind of dropped out from acting for a while, and he just came back the last few years, but he hasn't really. I don't think he's had really much success. So I also thought that was interesting. And of course, his sidekick, Song Kang-ho, is probably one of the most prolific South Korean actors working right now, at least as far as South Korean movies that have been released over here. He's almost every single major South Korean action movie that's been released over here, he at least has a small role in. I've noticed you'll recognize his face. So he was a little bit younger at this point. This was '98. And yeah. Interesting. The DVD cover of this movie said that's what it says the movie is called Shiri, and that's what I'm going to use. But the actual IMDb page spells it SWIRI, so I'm not sure if the odds are IMDb is probably a little more accurate, but the official American way is with an SH, so whatever. And of course, actually, the reason it's called that is for a name of a fish that they explain the movie. I won't go into that, but yeah. One thing I will notice is that the South Korean federal special agent SWAT guys who are constantly with the two lead secret agents they're really really bad. They just keep getting mowed down by the terrorists. I'm I thought you were in body armor. I mean, I know body armor isn't that effective as people say it is, but still, these guys just keep getting slaughtered. What the point? The point is just to be red shirts to get slaughtered, while the heroes are just doing their thing. So I'm but I kind of feel it almost feels a little offensive, just actual real life special forces SWAT guys. And that's not even the only movie to do it either. But this is just one thing that I noticed. But yeah, so like I said, if you like movies like Executive Decision or The Rock, if you're used to watching foreign films like Hardboiled, this is a good combination of both of them. Like I said, it's not quite as tight and polished as a lot of Hollywood films like it, but they got all that same good fun and surprisingly good dramatic elements to it. Like the dramatic elements, the romantic elements are actually handled pretty well and are mixed with definitely probably the best mix of romance and action and drama and action. One of the best that I've seen. I don't think that's probably a couple other examples I've seen. But this is definitely the best I've seen. One of the best I've seen. So I commend it for that. Definitely worth your time. Just like I said, just don't like I said, it's not quite as polished. Editing isn't quite always as top notch as you wish it could be, but it's still an entertaining film. Really good acting, decent story, good action. Check it out.